option. I'm gonna start with the Dow Jones chart quarterly. As you can see, we got here a dead cross in MACD. Just to explain to you, we have MACD here, then we have RSI, and we have the stochastic fast and the TTM squeeze here. So I just want to point out that if you look here, since 2011, we were upward in the MACD and also the simple moving average, and so that's a sign we're moving up. And even though you see here it touched it again went higher, but here we got a dead cross. And let's look when that happened last time in the quarterly chart of the Dow Jones. When that happened last time, you can see that it happened in 2008. Here you can see here that in year 2000 happened, and we can see how lower we went. And you can go all the way back to the other time frames. You can see in the 66 we came here, and also you can go all the way back to 29, which that time we didn't have a Fed to save the market, but you can see how lower we went. So all I wanted to say is that you gotta be careful when they get a dead cross in the quarterly chart. And another thing to point out is you always have wanted to look at the BB and Bollinger Band, and we came below the mid BB, but then we came above it. So anyway, just putting it out on the, let's close this one. We go to the next one on the Nasdaq. On the Nasdaq, you can see that it was very strong. Oh, another thing I point out is in RSI, you want to always pay attention. When you go above 70, it means overbought. That's the time it's going to run a lot higher. And then you always want to pay attention when it's above 70 or when it's below 30. This is quarterly on the Nasdaq too. So you can see that we came close to the mid BB, but we jumped back. If you look at the monthly, here we go on the monthly. You can see here that we came in the middle, and then we came below, and we touched the bottom of the Bollinger Band, and we bounced back to the middle, and right now we're above middle. But let's see where it's gonna go. If you go to daily, you can see that we were riding the bottom of the mid BB, and then on March 23rd, was the bottom of the market. We bounced back to the mid, and then now we're touching the top, which I think has a little bit more room to go, but end of the week I'll be doubtful. We'll see how the earnings season goes. So this is Nasdaq. Now we go to next one, which is RUT. RUT, that you can see, it's very interesting. Small cap companies, the highest point they had was in 19. I was in 18, and they never got there. They tried to get there, but they never made a new all-time high. And they came and touched the bottom of the Bollinger Band, and they had a crazy run actually. This end of the week, and they were high percentage-wise. They were much higher than Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and others, which means that there's money flowing there rather than other big names. Anyway, just want to point out these charts. Let's go to the names that you guys asked and look at them. Next one, S&P 500, and you can see that one that we came below mid BB, and then we went to we bounced back. Another thing I want to mention is the Fibonacci. Fibonacci, the way I draw it is that I find the lowest point ever since IPO of any name, and I put a 0 there, and the 100 I find the highest point, the last run that it had. So for example, here we had one run here, and then we got another run here, and then we get a run here, and then after this we got the last run that we had, that we went up here. So before the last run, this crazy run, I put it here, and then I get the 161 fib, which comes at 3,452 29. That, we got pretty close to it with the 50 point. And then another thing that I invented myself is that, between each fib level, I create another fib level. So to get the different levels. So you can see that, in this quarterly SPX, we came and touched, close to 24.45, and then we bounced back. So let's look at the daily. My computer is very slow, by the way. So you can see here, this was the high. We came close to the, that high that I pointed out before, and we bounced back. One thing I want to know that you guys look at is that once we go below the mid BB, the trend goes down. Once we go above it, the trend is up. So here you can see that, it was riding the lower BB. It came all the way down here. It got close to the fib level, and then it bounced back. Once it bounced back, you can see how the BB, the lower BB, transforms, and it became upward. And also, if you look at the MACD here got a golden cross finally after all these big runs. And right now the trend is up by the Fed, but we'll see how long Fed can do this. I mean, with all the thing closed, I don't know. A statistic fast, and here you can see how it jumped. It pointed out earlier that, the bounce is coming, and also the TTM squeeze. You can see that, when it turns from red to yellow, that means, here we go, bounce is coming. And after yellow, when it comes blue, the bars, when it gets bigger and bigger, that means like, it's gonna come more and more. But once the bar rise slower down, or the slope and the acceleration is becomes smaller and smaller, that means it can get near end of it. So my guess is, in the SPX we can get close to 29.49, and then probably we're gonna have a bigger drop after that. We don't know. I don't know the future. I'm just saying. So this is SPX, and let's go to the next one. Okay, somebody asked about DAL. I'm looking at DAL, and it doesn't really look good. Quarter is bad. Monthly is horrible. Right now it's creating like a bear flag. It can go lower. I put the lowest point ever at 2.36 on the fib. Highest point 63.44. We got this fib level, and as you can see, it was trying to hit the 16.77, but it didn't. But I think it will, and because of the weekly and daily right now, it looks good. If you pay attention here, it tried to went to the above BB here, above mid BB, but it failed, and it came lower, and right now is the trend is up on daily, and the 4 hour the trend is up. But if you pay attention, you can see that, you got a blue bar at the 4 hour. All I'm saying is, when you want to go for a long trade, you always have to look at all time frames. It depends how you want to play. You want to play long, you want to play short, you buying a long option, you buying the stock for long-term investment. You have to look at everything. So anyway, if you look here, the 4 hours is up, but if you you get a blue bar here, dark blue. What we'll see. My guess is, it probably touched 1677, maybe in the ER, but it should probably go back to 40. But this can all happen, in a couple months. It depends on how economy goes. Right now, everything is dead. Just look at the map. There's no airplane running. Next one somebody asked is about Shop. Shop is crazy. Just look at the quarter. Even, we got that cross on quarterly charts, but here, just look how upward it is. And it was amazing that it came all the way near 300 and boom, bounced back. I wish I grabbed it. It was the problem is on the Shop, the gap between a bid and ask is too high, and then once you want to sell, you have the same problem. It's too high, and options are super crazy. And anyway, I didn't touch it, but it was a good play. Anybody who played it. Shop, as you can see at the 4 hour, right now we're getting a little bit weakness here. So it touched twice on top 466. The fib level, says maybe we touch 445, but Right now I'm looking at it, it doesn't look that much interesting because 4 hours is weak, hourly is pointing down, so I probably wouldn't touch it. It would be good here to touch, to play with it, but it's too late already. Anyway, this is the fib level I just want to show you. My lowest point is 1848, and then the highest point I point is 409, and then I get 161 fib at 651.33. And you can see that, you know, how I draw my fibs. If you want, I can share my link of my toast and you can see my levels more clear if you want to load it there. The next one is CMG. CMG is really interesting. Actually, I want to show you this fib level here on the monthly chart. If you look at the monthly chart, you can see that I put the lowest, which was 3686, and then the highest 940.28, and exactly on this month it bounced back from 595. I mean, it came all the way down here, but let's look at the daily again. Go back here. The daily is here. So it went below the 61.8. It was a couple days below it, but once it bounced back here, I got the, you know, golden cross on daily. Boom, here it stayed above it, and then it touched the top BB. One thing I want you guys to learn from experience, what I learned is when a stock touches, it rises, like, you know, the bottom of the BB, then at some point it starts bouncing back. It comes like to the middle between the lower and the mid. It tends to go all the way to the mid, but then maybe it takes time, maybe it pulls back, but then if it goes above mid BB again and it stays above it, it has a high chance to touch the top BB. And you can see that, you know, it was riding the mid BB, here it goes above it, and then boom, we got, after 3 days we go above it. And then once it goes above BB, you know, you want to be careful. I mean, maybe it goes fast up, like, you know, sometimes like Tesla, or how a square went up, but you just gotta be careful. So anyway, right now we're overbought on 4 hour. 1 hour probably is gonna get a dead cross soon. Just watch out for it. Always, whenever I want to go overnight, I want to go a long position, like, you know, maybe 2 days. If I do that, it's very rarely. I look at the daily, and whenever I want to play short term, which I do mostly always short term, I always look at the 4 hour and daily. If it's upward, doesn't matter. Even if the stock comes down, it has to go up because the daily and the 4 months is already up. So anyway, going to the next one. Next one is Baba. And Baba is like, Amazon is really interesting. In this time, the interesting is, you know, people are buying online. So the business is not that much down. You know, Baba, the highest point was 230, now is riding around 200. Same as Amazon. So I don't know if they're gonna make a new all-time high. I highly doubt it, but who knows? Maybe their ER is very good and they jump out so huge. Right now 4 hours is pointing down, so I'm not interested in this one. Hourly same. Daily statistic is, you know, not that great. So I probably avoid it for now. But if it goes above 200, I mean, that's a great. I mean, before, when it went above 200, it ride crazy up. So it's possible to get to 11 if it goes above 200. Otherwise, it's just gonna be bounced back and forth between 185 and 198. Next one is SPY, our most favorite. So you can see that, you know, we got a dead cross on the quarterly, on the monthly we are dead cross, but, you know, thanks to Fed, we got a statistic golden cross here, and the lowest point we went here is once it jumps from the bottom of the BB on the daily, it went all the way touched the mid BB, and then it started riding around it. And on this day, when it went in the middle of the mid BB and the top BB, you know, after that it started running up. And right now we are touching the top BB. It's possible, it's highly possible to touch 293.94, and after that we may have a consolidation or a major huge pullback to a new lower time So that's my guess. My guess is we go to 168 in the long term. It's unless Fed keep buying and buying, nobody can fight that. It was funny. We were all laughing at Fed when they were at the beginning in April, in the March, were pumping money and nothing would happen. But later on, when the amount went higher and higher, they were nobody could fight us. So we'll see how long can Fed keep this market up. The next one we're looking at is Tesla. Tesla, I mean, just look at this quarterly up. I mean, monthly up. Daily statistic is already, golden cross. And then you look at the daily here, it's already upward. 4 hours was upward. One of the reason I bought on the Friday, I bought Tesla was, because I had the fib level 571, 58. Let me show you how I drew these fib levels first. So I put the 0 at 1498, and I put the 100 fib at the 3. Let me see. Oh, and also in the Fibonacci, let me show you this one. In the Fibonacci, so you can see I use different colors, and it's good. It's nicer, using different style. You can, separate in your mind how it looks like, because otherwise they're all red, gonna be red by default. And I have 161.8 and 618 and 236 to find how far up it can go. And if anybody is interested in Fibonacci, they can DM me. I can share with them a very interesting book. They can learn more about it. Anyway, Tesla tried many times to go above this 300 something level, which right now it was 389.61. That was the all-time high. It tried to several times pass it, but it didn't. So I put the 100 there, and then once you put the 100 there, you get the 161.8 at 621, and then you get 261.8 at 995, which we got very close to it. So all these fib level doesn't mean exactly like you have to always wait to get there and then get out or buy or sell or whatever. But it's just something that you want to consider when you get near it. That means it's either time to get out or make a decision, make a move. And the most interesting I learned is that in Fibonacci, the most important levels are 23.6, 61.8, and these levels are super super huge. I saw so many names that once they pass 23.6, they run all the way to 61.8, or reverse. When they were pulling back, if they lost the level 61.8, boom, they came all the way back to 23.6. That's how these levels are working. Anyway, looking at here, we get 161 at here. So if on Monday, if only we pass 621, there is a high chance, maybe by end of the week we get back to 709, especially that they're cutting the losses, they're cutting their expenses, their employees, extra employees, blah blah blah, and they're already starting production in China. So there's lots of good things happening, even though that futures are red right now. But it's possible that Tesla has a run, because it's behind others. So we'll see. The reason I just go back to that why I bought it is, let me restore this. You can see here that Tesla was already above 61.8 and tried here to go below it. It failed. It didn't go. It held well, and then it tried to go above, like here, if you look, like 64, 66, two times tried to go higher in 4 hour, but it didn't. So when on the Friday I saw it went above 571, and then I bought it, my option, but then it pulled back. So I was really about to sell my option, my call option that I held over the weekend, but I was like, okay, let's hold a little bit longer, let's see if it's gonna go below 65, 66, which it didn't. And I think it went $1 below it and it bounced back. But anyway, it closed above it, and we all saw after hours what happened. Boom. So next one we go to LULU. LULU is really interesting. This fib level I drew became really really interesting for me. Looking at the monthly, let me show you this. This is really interesting how the fib level worked here. So the lowest point was 217, okay? And then the last rise, the last highest point was here, which we got at 164.79. Then if you put the fib 100 here, 0 here, you get 161 at what number? 266.2 was the all-time high. The fib gives you 265.29. That's super accurate, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. And then, it pulls back all the way to here. Let's look at the other time frames. Go back. Right now, monthly is already dead cross, which is normal for all the names right now. Daily is upward, 4 hours is upward. I mean, hourly looks like not that great, but it's possible. It's above mid BB on daily. It's possible to touch 226.9 on Lulu, to be honest. But it's not gonna be as fast as how it happens here. But it is possible, like in 1 week or 2 weeks, go to 226.9. About Lulu, somebody asked. Next one we go to ROKU, our most favorite. But recently, everybody's confused what's happening here. Here I put the 100 on the highest point and 0 on the lowest point. So far we are going up and down here, and in the daily, we are still above mid BB. It's holding not really bad. I mean, I'm not playing it these days. Hourly is about to dead cross. 4 hours we got a yellow, dark blue, so it might pull back. And daily is already too high. I mean, it maybe touch 96.15 again, or maybe goes all the way to top BB, but who knows. And also, if you look at the weekly, we got the yellow bar. Actually, ROKU is getting interesting. So if we get a pullback, it might be a good time to get into it, because it may if it gets over 96.15 and it stays above it and goes above 100, we may get 115 by the time, if it like not next week or the week after, it maybe come and touch the mid BB and the weekly. So maybe a couple days later starts moving. We'll see. Looking at GE. GE honestly is a dead company right now, and GE is the oldest company actually in the stock market. I couldn't find any more information all the way back, to 1960 or 70. Anyway, the quarterly, if you look at it, is just so low. I mean, they have so much competition right now. They're losing a lot of things. It's not a company I want to play with. It's not something I want to grab it right now. But anyway, if somebody thinks that this is the bottom for them, good luck. The weekly is so down. Let's look at the weekly. If we go all the way here, boom, boom. So here, let me show you this. I drew the 100 at 60.5, and the lowest I put at the 54 cents. That's the lowest price I could find. I think it was like 1930 or something. So I got all these fib level. The 23 fib level I got at 14.69. Then I put another fib level between the 14.69 and 0.54, and as you can see, we are just, let's go to, we bounce off the 595 here, and honestly, there's nothing interesting to play here unless it gets above 9.28 and stays above it. Maybe touch the mid BB in the weekly, and maybe it goes back to 14.69, but that's gonna take a long time. Nothing long interesting here. CCL Saudi, I heard they get a big stake in it. I mean, they took a big position in it, but in the weekly it's still oversold. It got out of the daily oversold, but right now it's above mid BB in the daily. We'll see. It probably can't touch the top, which can be 17, but the fact, I mean, it jumped from the bottom, but you shouldn't forget the fact that all the cruise lines are closed right now. They're all dead. I mean, they're not making money, they're burning money. Same like airlines. So God knows when they're gonna go back to profitability. God knows when they're gonna go back to making money, before getting to profitability. So I mean, 4 hours, it looks like we're getting a lot of dark blue. It looks like it's gonna pull back, give another chance for buying. Hourly is already downward, so I'm not interested in this for holding long. Probably is gonna touch 597, high chance before going back. But once it goes back to 1234 and it starts maybe going higher, it's it'll probably go back to 1871 is when things get a little bit better. But right now it looks like a huge bear flag. We'll see. But you never know. Creating a W here, that's why I'm saying it's possible to touch 1871. We'll see when they're gonna lift off this social distancing or quarantine and stuff like that. Next one is Apple, our most favorite. Apple, it had a huge crazy run. Let's look at the monthly. All these years had a crazy run. You can see I put my top BB on 233 in 2018, the toppest, and the lowest I put at the 20 cents. I don't remember which year was that much, but Apple got split a couple times. But you can see that it gave me a 161 at 377, and the 61.8 was 322. It went above it, boom, dropped down. I'm very unhappy that I didn't short this when it drops, but anyway. Regret is our best friend. Going back to the chart to see what's gonna happen in the future. Restore. Okay. Right now daily is upward. 4 hours is not showing any strength. Hourly is and just stop. I mean, nothing interesting happening. But if you remember, before we dropped crazier to near 214 below that, it was holding pretty well in 270 to 80 area here, this range. So it's probably gonna go there, and right now it's trying to touch the top BB. Slowly it's gonna touch that. I mean, we haven't seen anything crazy in Apple yet. Other names sometimes have crazy runs, but Apple, I ordered my Apple computer a week ago. They haven't shipped it yet, so imagine how crazy it is. The ERs should be very horrible. That's what I'm guessing. Next one is oil. Looking at oil right now, it's getting positive, but don't forget the fact that there is no buyer. All the production lines everywhere in the world is shut down. Everything is just stopped. So the tankers are full, the pipelines are full, the storages most of them are full. So there is no buyer. They didn't have any other option rather than making a deal and cut their production. They didn't have any other option. And right now, looking at let me see how much is USO. It hasn't opened yet. Oh yeah, it's open actually. USO right now is at 5:30. Same was on Sunday, on Friday. So for me, if it gets above 29.8, then it becomes interesting. On a daily, it's riding a mid BB. 4 hours is very weak. Hourly is very weak. That's why I didn't hold my long position, because I don't see any action in the world that they increase the usage of the oil, unless some orders comes from all over the board or something. I mean, but with all this quarantine, everything shut down. China has no production. Even they start producing, what they're gonna make, for who they're gonna make. So oil is better to avoid it for now. Wait a little bit more. My guess is it's possible to go back to 17.41, and if it doesn't hold, God bless it. Next one is SPCE, space. This name is super crazy went up and super crazy came down. So let me show you how I draw my fib so you can see what I did here. I put the lowest point at 6.09 and I put the highest point at 20.09. Why I put 20.09? Because you can see that here came, resisted twice, and then boom, third time went up crazy. So but if you put there and then you get 161 at 28.4, and then which we hit it here, and then 261.8 fib you get at 41.43, which we hit it 3 days later. That was crazy. But remember, whenever you go to the highest point like here, it can, it has the possibility to drop crazy back, and you can see that it went below the 161. It went below shh, that is recording. Irina. Sorry about that. Then you can see that when it went below 20, it went all the way touch the 23%. That's why I'm saying these levels are very important. 61.8 and 23. Once it loses it, boom, it goes to the next one. So let me see. You guys had another question about which other chart? We go next one is Baba, Tesla, Lulu. I did Roku, Apple, and BA. Oh, BA is very interesting. I want to show you guys BA. Okay. BA, I put my max fib on the. Let's look at the weekly. I put my max fib on 446.01 and the lowest point, where it was? Let me see. Lowest point was 38 cents. I don't know when. I Googled, I found the lowest point in the IPO or something. 38 cents. So I got these fib levels and it was really interesting. Look, we got, once it lost 275.78, boom. It came to the 23 level, 105, and then it bounced back, to the 38.2, and now it's just, going in between. So let's go back to daily. So I put a fib between these two. I put a fib between 170 and 105. You can see that, once it went all the way up there, and we all tried to buy put, but they were killing premium, so we didn't hold it. But I lost the 61.8. It came and touched 23.6, 120. I tweeted that it was a good time to buy. Unfortunately, I didn't buy myself, and went above it again. So anyway, looking at the charts right now, 4 hour doesn't show any strength, or even hourly. I think it's gonna go, probably it's gonna play between this range of 120 and 170 for a while until it breaks it. But for now, it's just a day trade, or whenever it touch the bottom, you can go long again. When it touch the top, we'll see. On the daily, it probably gonna touch. Let's see the daily. The daily, the top is 183. Probably daily is gonna go down if it pulls back again. Right now there is no airplane there. There's no need for even they start production. There's no orders. I don't know where to get ordered that they won't have production. Maybe they make parts, but my thinking is that probably Boeing is gonna have another downtrend again, because just looking at the monthly and weekly, until we don't get a yellow bar, I doubt anything happens. So BEMXE, I don't know about this company. Actually, I will look into it. I don't know. Let's see. USO. Our favorite that we played recently. How much is it now? 530. Yeah. So use the same as oil. If it gets above 554, it would become interesting, and it's possible to go back to 799. But this, I think, is gonna take a long time. It's not gonna be a fast rise. But if even you look at the daily, it's already turning like this. It's gonna, and it's statistic. It's very interesting. A statistic always tells you the fastest response. It always tells you earlier that what's gonna happen, and always pay. That's why I keep 4 of them, because It's a combination of all of them. Anyway, I wanted Nvidia too. Let's do Nvidia. Nvidia, I put the toughest point at 16.32 and the lowest point at 133. And you can see that it almost came, let's look at, yeah, it came below 195.99 and then it bounced back super crazy back. And remember, Nvidia had a good earning last season, so we'll see. Right now, it is possible to go back and forth between 264 and 290. So have to see how the market is. But in the long term, if you look at the 4 hours, it doesn't look that much strength. So here was good. You see here how it was like light green on MACD, boom, 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 and then suddenly here it start falling. So it's losing its strength. My prediction about this week in market is that market probably gonna have some upward up and down at the beginning of the week. We probably maybe due to news or something maybe touch 3,000, maybe a good bank ER, maybe whatever reason we get close to 3,000 because with this speed that we went up, it's not impossible. But when we get there, it's gonna stay below it. I tell people once SPX hit 3,000, make sure you go all cash, because we all know economy is shut down, the virus is still out there, nobody's profitable. Even if the economy goes back to open today, it's gonna be hard for them to pay their expenses and everything and bills. Landlords are not collecting rent, so overall I'm bearish for market. But we cannot fight the Fed. So if there's a green day, why not we write the green? All I'm saying is that always pay attention to the indicator. For example, SQ, he came, that guy, owner of the CEO of Twitter, he came and says, I'm gonna pledge 1 billion. It came to the news, and then people started attentioning to it, and boom, it one day went up crazy, and the next day went up crazy too, because it got above 23 here level, and then it went all the way up to 61.8, and it got close even to the main level 65.59. If you look at my levels, is the lowest point is 806, the highest point is 101, and right now 4 hours is showing weakness, you can see here, but there's a chance to give a bounce back. The only thing I want to show you guys is always look at the trend, how it is. One of the biggest mistakes I always make, sometimes I try to play the opposite of the trend. For example, if the weekly is up, if the daily is up, you don't want to play put on the short term unless hourly or 4 hours down. For example, here you can see that daily is already upward, and then daily got golden cross at 326. So 326 here 326 we got the upward, and it came all the way here. Okay, and then it pulled back. The best, if you look at the 4 hour, it pulled back, but the daily was still upward, right? It didn't dead cross. So once you get a golden cross on 4 hour, which we got it on the 406 April 6, then it was a good time to and you went above it and you get a golden cross. These are perfect signs that go for a 1 week option or 2 week option to be safe. And boom, look, from 50 went all the way to 66. And whenever you don't know what to do, you don't know how long it's gonna take, the best thing to do is get a monthly chart 1 month out. That's why USO I played monthly, because I didn't know when this is gonna jump out. It's the safest. If something drops, it go lower very slower than other options, but if it goes up, it goes faster than others because the IV goes up. So that's about that. All I want to say is always pay attention to these. The way I trade is like this. Let me show you guys. If I can find my chart. When I do day trade, I trade like this. This is the chart I look at. I have my 1 min, I have my 5 min, I have my 15, 30, 1 hour, hourly, weekly, and monthly. So I don't look at, I mean, daily and weekly. I don't have the monthly because, monthly takes time to change. It's already in my mind what it is. So when I see like, something, the daily is upward, but then I see the 4 hours is downward, that's, I get a mixed signal. For example, Tesla, let me show you Tesla. Why I did Tesla. So Tesla, I came here, and this level was very important for me, 571. Once it went above it, yes, I bought it at the bad time, but what if once it went above it, I bought my option, and I bought it at a higher price. But I guess that is gonna go much higher and faster. Actually, whenever, I mean, so it went below it. 566 was the level I wanted to get out, but I was about to sell it, but then I saw it jumps back. I held it, and then once I was still before close. I was thinking about selling it, but then when I saw market is getting strong and it got above 571, I was confident to keep it. And another reason, the if you look here, the 15. What was the other reason? We have the hourly. If you looked at the hourly was already upward. So even if it was going down here, like 1 hour before close, but the hourly was still at 3 o'clock was still upward, and the 4 hours. So that's how I look at it. I look at this, and the 4 hours wasn't touching. Um, we got a blue bar, but the statistic was still upward, and it wasn't dead cross. Yes, we got blue bar and squeeze, but the statistic didn't dead cross yet. So that was the reason I kept Tesla. Another question. Let me see this one. QQ. Oh, somebody asked about QQ. Let's look at Q. It's very interesting. QQ was very weak on Friday because 200 is a level that And another thing, when I do trading, I always look at all the indicator: RUT, Dow Jones, S&P 500, Nasdaq. I look at all the four because it's really important. S&P is 500, top companies, big companies. Nasdaq, is just mostly technology. And Dow is 30, you know main companies that is needed for this industry, all the world, whatever. And RUT is the most interesting is the small companies. And so if you looked on Friday, RUT was much higher than other names, and the Nasdaq was much lower. It was went red at some point, and I was very interested. So I saw it as opportunity that is the weakest. So that's why I played QQ puts. And if you look, QQ already was, I think, downward that day. So I looked at I think, yeah, I looked here. I got a I got here a dead cross. Here we got one, and also if you look at the 5 min, 5 min here we got a dead cross. So it was a good ride from here all the way. I mean, even if you catch it, and also the Fibonacci, we passed 201, so it was a chance to touch at least 199. I mean, it could have gone lower if it wasn't fed. So, but then again, we went back to 201, then back to this level again. So it's very important to know the levels. And how I look at the levels, I always look at the levels of combination of the BB and Fibonacci. So you can see that, it came like here, for example, when this, if you look at the 5 min, it came all the way to here. They didn't go above it. Then it came back, it didn't go above it. Then it came touch down and, ride the lower BB. It's really important to read the charts, look at the chart, how it works. Whenever something goes out of the BB, you want to look if it has a higher chance to go higher, or if it's at the maximum, you want to take profit at that point, or you want to ride it. It's really, over time you will learn. Anyway, I think it's stop for now, and if you got any more questions, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you so much. Hopefully I do better next time. Thank you.